Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Bachelorette episode 7. And 2 hours that I can really say, this is one of the most surprised I think I've ever been coming out of an episode of this show.
I lost the two guys that I liked the absolute most. And one of them, Andrew S., went out in such a fashion that I was just like, my heart broke. And then my heart broke again. And then she's chasing me downstairs and my heart is breaking again. I was just like, how much more can you guys just kick me in the heart?
They showed that clip of her running to Andrew and being like, Andrew, and then jumping into his arms 5 times during this season. And I spent this whole time wondering what that context was going to be. This was not what I expected. I thought Andrew was top 3. I thought it was a lock, throw away the key, nothing to worry about.
No, I absolutely, their connection was so strong. I do not know what happened here, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, we'll try to get into it. It's really hard without knowing what's in Katie's head, but we'll discuss that.
Yep.
We have some interesting dates, question mark, to get into here as well.
Yeah.
But hit that subscribe button because, of course, we're here every week talking about The Bachelorette and other reality shows like Big Brother. And, of course, Animal Kingdom, Power Book 3, Raising Kanan as well.
Yep. Follow us over on Instagram at Matt and Jess TV.
Okay, Andrew S.
Yeah, no, we got to talk about Andrew S. right away because he's been a favorite of ours for a really long time. One of mine specifically for a very long time. Bachelor Nation really likes him. I mean, social media is melting down.
Yes. This guy, okay, it was a real, I know he wasn't trying to audition for The Bachelor. I'm not saying this is a Thomas situation or anything, but this was a huge Bachelor moment for him. Come on.
Please don't go to Paradise. I know that there's been all these announcements of men from Katie's season are now going over to Paradise. Please don't go to Paradise. Yeah. You are the next Bachelor for me. I absolutely adore you, Andrew. You're watching this video. Yeah. You are a treasure. The whole night with Andrew was it was just so shocking because even on that group date, when there was sort of I know that production is in there being let's recreate this special moment or whatever. Their original one-on-one date was really special and it was just fun and breezy and natural. And then she chose Justin and I was kind of okay, I get that they like each other or whatever, but it did not feel on the same level as Andrew. There was something very real there.
Maybe she really liked Justin's painting. I'm kind of joking, but the truth is, I don't understand it because I thought Andrew and Katie had amazing chemistry. I thought they sort of talked out some of their issues really well because I could understand, Andrew lives in another country basically, and that can be a big roadblock, but they talked about it.
When he straight up said, I will stop playing to be with you, I was okay, he is definitely going the distance past the hometowns, top 2, top 3. I was just there's no way. He straight up, I will give up my career and be wherever you are. I thought that was the lock on that. And then when she was no. Wherever you're going to be is where I'm going to be. We can have a balance with this. We can figure this stuff out. If we need to put having kids on hold for a little while, okay. I was okay, these two are completely in sync with each other, that they are both willing to compromise and make sacrifices because they really, really like each other.
It's a little chin scratch, but okay, this is what I'm going to project out there. Maybe Katie already knows at this point either who her guy is or who her top 2 is. And maybe production went to Katie then and was I don't think this happened, but just I'm going to live in this moment. And production was okay, if these 2 are your top 2, let's create a really wonderful exit for Andrew here where, you get to kind of live in this moment with him. We could paint this beautiful story. I'm sorry, Justin, somebody else is painting now, but ultimately give him the sort of Bachelor potential edit here.
I don't know, because if their connection is as strong as it looks like it is on this show, even if she has the top two that she's like, okay, maybe it's Blake, maybe it's Greg. I'm assuming these are her top two.
Yeah.
This is my assumption. There's still time in these hometown dates and sort of fantasy suites and moving forward that people can shift in that time. Yes, some people straight away are like, okay, this person is getting picked, but things do shift, and they have in this season where I was like, oh, she's picking Greg. Oh, now I think she's picking Blake. Like, things do shift around. It could have continued. So if production did that, which I don't think they did, but if they did, shame on you for sending him out. Like, as much as I would love to see him as Bachelor, I really liked him with Katie. Like, she gave up somebody that's just a treasure.
And he had so much class and so much just dignity, and how he left and how he continued to support her and care for her. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't angry. And then, he even shows back up so they can get more closure.
It was really, he handled this in all the right ways. And even when she ran down the stairs and was like, hey, did you want to stick around? I was really glad that he said no. The way that she either needed to say, I choose you. You need to be back in the competition. I want to meet your family. Like, that's where they are. And her just kind of, the way that it played to me was she was just like, hey, do you want to stick around? Basically, like, do you want to sit in your hotel room just in case something else doesn't work out with one of these other guys and I can bring you back in? Like, it just wasn't, it didn't feel right. And when he walked away saying, I want her to actually choose me. Yes, Andrew. Yes, I agree. We all agree. Yeah. You deserve for your person to also choose you. And she didn't choose you. And then the second time, she still wasn't like, let's do hometown. You're back in. I choose for you to be back in.
I think that if she had worded it differently, he might still be there. I think if she had sort of said, Andrew, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I need you. I need to meet your family. Like, if she had said things in that way, I don't know what production would have done. I don't know if they're going to have 5 hometowns, but I just felt like there was probably something she could have said to make him want to be there.
It had to be a lot more clear than that. Andrew made the right choice. He shouldn't be waiting around in case one of her other choices dips out. That's not the way that you work towards a marriage.
And I think probably part of the problem in Katie's head is maybe in all of these moments, this goodbye, maybe Andrew did rise up her rankings a little bit. Maybe he was number 5 and maybe this brought him to number 3. But it's still number 3, and if she has better feelings for 2 other people, it doesn't really matter.
My worry was just that she realized she made a mistake, and because there can only be 4 hometown dates, she would have to then take the moment to go and take a rose away from somebody else and to give it to Andrew. And I think at that point, it was a better choice for her where she's like, I've already made my choices. I cannot go and start taking roses away from people and then give it back to Andrew, who already might feel a little resentful that I didn't choose him in the first place. And now I got 2 people that feel resentful. I think she just kind of was stuck.
I have a really weird image in my head right now of Justin's family, going to the airport to fly down there for the hometown date. And you know how when you watch The Amazing Race sometimes and people don't actually make it to the mat and Phil just shows up to eliminate them on the spot? I kind of felt like somebody was going to show up to Justin's family before they got on the plane and been like, I'm sorry, you have been eliminated from the competition.
Listen, she is not ending up with Justin. It is not there for them the way that it is for other people.
No, and
I'm sorry, Justin. You seem like a nice guy and you could paint really well, but it's just, maybe we'll see you in paradise.
Okay, since we're talking about painting, I think I know we got to talk about the other eliminations, but can we speak about this group date for a moment here?
Sure.
Michael A., you have presented yourself as this very serious, single father with this powerful, heartbreaking emotion, just story. And you sculpt a butt for this challenge.
10 out of 10. And I really liked it because his story has been so serious. And yes, it is a very serious thing that's happened to him in his life. But there has to be some joy in Joyville. There has to be some laughs, some fun, some smiles. Like, that gave me a smile. I was like, okay, there he is. There he is. I get this. All right, cool. Not so serious, Mike.
I will admit I actually feel the same way, because it's like, there's one part of me that's like, this is so unbelievably juvenile. How old is he? But at the same time, it is kind of just like laughing at this really emotional guy that's sculpting a butt for no apparent reason.
The weirdest part about this date for me, and if anyone can remember a time that this has happened, please leave it in the comments, because I cannot remember. I've watched an unbelievable amount of Bachelor and Bachelorette in my life. So sometimes it all kind of blends together.
Yeah.
This is one of the first times that I ever remember seeing a lead kiss one of the people openly in front of everybody in the group date. And for a minute, I thought she was going to go and give everyone a kiss, because I was like, maybe it's like just a thing she's going to do. Now I was like, okay, she got swept away in a moment and she did this, but seeing the other guys be like, what is happening? Like, it was pretty strange.
Yeah, if I was one of the guys, I would be pretty uncomfortable, as in very uncomfortable. I can't speak to being in their situation, and they obviously know that like this stuff is happening, but usually you don't have to look at it, and it's a lot harder if you actually have to look at it, because it's not something you can just sort of shove out of your head anymore.
No, I agree. I think she was probably just in a moment and she took her moment. However, as the lead, so this is my feeling, I think you need to keep that separation to give respect to yourself, to everybody else, to sort of give sort of the respect of privacy of these kisses where you're kind of not rubbing it in other people's faces. And she clearly wasn't doing it to rub it in anybody's face, but it still is in your face. And you could see the other guys like looking around being like, okay, so what am I doing here? It just creates just uncomfort for everybody.
Yeah, and I don't know, Katie, but I feel like maybe she would probably want that moment back, just depending on how she felt about that date overall. But
yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe she really was just like, I was in a moment and I wanted to take that moment, and it is her season to do as she pleases.
Yeah.
But there has sort of been that unspoken, just keep it a little bit private, don't hurt the other people, and kind of move forward in that way.
This episode was, we had this really just heart-wrenching moment with Andrew at the end of it, and I don't want to be like this episode needed that, because I didn't need to see Andrew go home right now.
I don't need to see Andrew have a broken heart. I'm not having that.
But I will say, though, that every other thing that happened in this episode was so, like, unbelievably predictable. Like, Brendan just rising from like being a ghost the entire season to actually recognizing that this isn't working out for him.
Yeah, as soon as he was like, okay, so I'm not getting a one-on-one, I'm just gonna go and see what's going on. Katie being like, yeah, you're gonna go. And then Justin being like, well, that was shockingly unexpected to see Brendan go home. Like, really, Justin? Come on. You've been here this whole time. There is nothing shocking about Brendan going home.
There's nothing shocking about Brendan, period. I could not tell you what Brendan looked like before this episode tonight. The only thing I recognize about him now, and this is probably just my own personal envy, is he's got like a really big hair situation going on.
Oh, he got nice hair.
Yeah, he's got nice. Congratulations, Brendan. I will remember you for two things. Number one, nice hair. Number two, for actually recognizing the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm not getting a date. Why am I wasting my time? And just going and effectively having the exit conversation right away.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't. So, that was good.
I do like the edit, though, of him being like, it's going to go great. And it's like, Brendan, you know it's not going to go great. Why are you listening to producers who may be making you say this?
Okay, now we get to talk about Mike P.
Oh boy. Oh, Mike P, there's so much to say.
Okay, here's the thing. I've always liked him. He's been very just genuine. What you see is what you get. He's a very funny guy. He plays into the fact that he knows he's saving himself for marriage, but he still was like, I know that Katie is not. I don't care. I'm here anyways because of who she is. Like, he went into this knowing that it might be a problem, but that maybe she would see something more in him. And even the conversation with the guys back at the hotel or whatever, where they were kind of like, oh, well, of course she wasn't going to be with him because he's never going to be with anyone until he's married. And that's a problem. And then to have it sort of come out there, it's like, well, he's had other girlfriends and he's done stuff with them. He's just not doing that with them. And it's kind of like, okay, if you're willing to do some stuff, then you're gonna be able to find a middle ground until they're married. This isn't a complete write-off.
No, they act as though Andrew is never, aware of Mike P. There we go. They act like Mike P.
has never kissed a girl.
Yeah, they act like he is completely foreign and unknown to all of this. And he's not. And he is a likable guy I'm not even going to say for the most part, for the whole time, but okay, I just got to address the elephant in the room here because I'm going to keep just dancing around it in my head.
Let's talk about his mom.
Okay, so here's the thing. If I was, this is no offense to Mike P, who I do really like, but if I am like lying in a cuddle position and he says to me at that moment, you remind me of my mom, I'm sorry, I'm getting up, I'm walking away. It's just
No, that was the moment that he just was friend zoned.
Yeah.
Like, it was over. You cannot say stuff like that. And even if you're trying to say it in a not creepy, weird way, which is exactly what I think he was doing. He was not trying to be creepy or weird.
Yeah.
You just can't be in an embrace with someone and say, you remind me of my mom. It has to be something like you see her, doing something else that reminds you of your mom. And that's okay because then it works. It's about timing. You can't be in an embrace. It's so weird.
No.
It was bad. However, I will say this. I think that he took so much of it in such fun. Like, even when they're like, go get changed for this cuddle party you're going to have. And he came out all in white and he's like, I look like a drug lord. I legit laughed out loud at this. Like, his sense of humor is 10 out of 10. He's so funny.
He is really funny, and I give him props for handling a lot of the things that were thrown at him because, he had to know that production was going to give him the let's be really physical date. The fact that this is like the last one-on-one date before a hometown. It's like, if you haven't had a one-on-one date, this is I always forget this last initial, but I think this is the Ryan P. Memorial go cry in the bushes date where you're probably going home throughout all of it.
Yeah, this is always the date where people end up going home. So I'm sure he knew. And even he knew it was going to be physical too. He even said, I thought this was going to be some date where I had to take all my clothes off. And he should be expecting something like that.
Yeah.
So this is where I will give production a tiny pat on the back. This was a good date for them because it was going to get them into that middle ground, something that he would be okay with, she would be okay with. They needed to know if physically there was something there. The issue was the woman running this thing. That's what I think. They're hugging and they're giggling and whatever. And she's like, oh, it's because, they have a problem with each other. They're just not, not meant to be kind of thing. And it's like, no, it's because you're sitting there watching them being like, why are you giggling? Why are you giggling? What's going on over there? What's the problem? Just breathe, guys. It's like, no, just leave. Because once she left and she was like, oh, do this cuddle position, they were hugging. I was like, okay, and now it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. It's fine. She was weird. Okay, this is where, I give production credit for the date, but I'm about to do a finger wag at them for what they did after this date, because this is full Dikembe Mutombo at this point, because really, well, here's what happened here with the 5 minutes of the confessionals of seeing, poor Mike P talking about his mom, is that after he went on this date, they brought him into a room and they were like, so that comment you made about your mom.
Agreed.
Why don't you? And then they decided that they were going to take 2 minutes out of probably like an hour-long confessional they did with him, and then make it seem as though this is like all that he can talk about, and that he is just like some sort of like really weird, terrifying. It's like,
no, he got a bad edit on that he's like some guy whose only physical contact is cuddling his mom at 31.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think anybody actually believes that.
I hope not.
I hope not too, because I just don't think. I think it was absolutely taken out of context.
They, in between, the Hunter bad edit and now the Mike P bad edit, it is like, unless you were Andrew or you were in Katie's Final Four, you might have some beef at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it was something like, hey, so you were at this cuddle date today, do you cuddle a lot of people? And he probably made a joke and was just like, oh yeah, I don't get physical with a lot of girls. I just cuddle my mom. And then they were like, boop, soundbite, here we go.
I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry this happened to you. It's going to be okay. Maybe you'll end up in paradise. I think you'll do all right there.
Yeah, I think he was just a really interesting character, and it was fun to see someone like him on the show that isn't like sort of the normal kind of people we see on the show. He was fun. He was funny. He was just a fresh perspective on things. I really liked him. I'm not happy that the show did him dirty with that last little edit thing.
No.
I think it's...
No bueno. Okay, well, let's just hear from you guys. How are you? Let's check in on you after the Andrew S. emotional, just like cavalcade.
So thoughtful.
Yeah, I want to know how they're doing because
we weren't doing that well.
We were going through it. We're sure you guys are going through it well. Okay, so let's all just send our vibes for Bachelor Andrew S. out into the universe. Let us know what you thought about the rest of the episode.
Also, a little love for Mike P. There you go. This bad edit.
There you go. And okay, well, we'll be here all week talking Big Brother, American Horror Stories, all sorts of other good stuff. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you here next time.